stripping everything off of the walls, or my daughter-in-law is going to be doing a lot of it and repainting this. Like many houses, these walls are not completely 100% square. The height of this over here in this corner is about a 1/4 inch difference, and that could be due to where they put this drop ceiling in. I'm putting in tongue and groove, and the important thing is you want to make sure this bottom, when you start out with, is as square as possible. Well, the other problem I run into is this is called a 1x6x12 tongue and groove pine, and it's actually 3/4 thick times about 5 1/4 wide by the time you put the grooves together, 12 feet and a 1/2 inch long. So I had to make this strip here to fill in, otherwise I'd have a big gap here, and trying to nail into this corner would cause this to bow or even possibly break. So once you get this on, you want to put a level on it before you get it nailed in. You put a nail in one end to help hold it on. Then you put a level on it to get as close to as you can, and it's very, very close. That doesn't mean it's perfect. Also, on this socket, you need to cut around, so if you ever have to pull that plug out if it goes bad. Well, I bring a board in and I get it in place, and then I see about how much it covers, which was up to here, and then I make a little mark where I know where to go, and then I draw a line here, knowing about where the outlet's at, and then I measure from here to down here, and it was 2 1/4 inches. And that helps me know about where to cut. And this right here is a piece that was bad. And a lot of these, when they go together, they won't go all the way down. So I cut this other edge off. You don't want to beat on this edge. If you beat on this edge, you tear it up, things won't fit too well. So I cut this off with my table saw. You leave your groove on there, and then your groove will set on there. Then you can take your hammer and tap it, and you'll be able to see it going together. And even though you think it's together, many times it's not. And by the time you can get up here, 1/8 of an inch off, if you don't have this seated real good, time you get up there, it can be a 1/4, 1/2 inch to an inch. Then you got a real problem. Popper. Also, for this outlet here, because this wood is 3/4 inch thick, I had to put some type of spacers behind them. You can buy some certain type stuff, but I had some round plastic pieces and put 2 of them together that added up to about 3/4 of an inch. Then I put it behind the outlet and had to get longer screws, and I screw it into the wall, and I bring it out enough where I can put the plate on it. Otherwise you can't use it. This is another thing you got to deal with. This is from Lowe's, and I know Lowe's, Home Depot, all them the same, and they can't help sometimes what they get, but you can see that's like 3 inches above at this end, and it's all the way down at this end, and I got it tacked in place. And I picked through like 40 boards just to get 19, and I took 4 that wasn't that good. But by the time I get them home, you got them in here setting, they just start warping and doing all kinds of stuff. This wasn't luck, but lucky for me that this windowsill was right where this other bad bow was. The other board I couldn't use. It was 3.5 inches high, and it would snap in half before you could get it in place. Here I couldn't get this one in enough, but I was able to get 2 pieces of wood, stick them between the windowsill, and put a wedge in between it. Drive the wedge in, being careful, and I was able to push the wood down far enough to get that big bow down. If it wasn't for the windowsill, I don't know what I would have done. When these finishing nails are 2.5 inches long, because I have sheetrock, there's paneling, and then this wood here, tongue and groove, is 1 inch thick. So altogether it's about 1 3/4 inches. So I need something to hold in better, so I'm going with a 2.5 inch nail. And I'm using a real small bit that's just a little bit smaller than what the nail is in itself. And you want to drill into the stud. And then these nails themselves, finishing nails, they got a little divot spot right in there. So when you use your punch, it fits right into the hole. Or that little divot, whatever you want to call it. That way you can drive it into the wall a little deeper so the head's not sticking out of the wood. And if you hit the wood too much, that's the bad part about using a hammer. It will mar the wood and put spots all over, which that happens when you're using a hammer. And yes, that finishing, this punch here, and you just get it in the center of that little hole, it fits right in there, and a couple taps, and it puts it right down into the wood where it doesn't, the nail head. This is why I can't work in my garage, and I got a room I got to try to get finished up. But I don't leave this type stuff outside. This boat's a 1979. I've had it for about 42 years. And my woodworking equipment's all stacked around it and back in behind it. And my tractor stays in here. I don't let it sit outside. So 99% of my work is done outside, even though today it's only right now 18 degrees. Got some furniture coming in, and we're trying to get a room redone before it gets here. I got everything done on this tongue and groove except the trim. So out of these 1x6s that were 12 feet long, I'm cutting, making it trim 2 inches wide. It's only like 18 degrees out here, very cold. One of the most important things is always make sure everything's unplugged before you start, or measure or do anything. Not your ideal time to do this stuff, but don't have any other way of really doing it. this tongue and groove knotty pine. The trim is like 15, 20 some dollars a piece. So I just decided to take 2 of the boards that I already had and cut the trim out. It took me 1, 2, 3, 4 different pieces, 4 or 5, and I laid them all together and matched them up. But saved a lot of money just doing the trim, making it yourself, since you already had the wood out of these 2x6s.